I am ready.
All right, Vegas 45, UFC Vegas 45, Cub Swanson versus Darren Elkins. Uh, our question for you guys regarding this matchup. This is a battle of OG UFC guys.
Yeah.
Both of these guys have been in the UFC for north of 10 years. There's no title implications. There's no title run in the horizon, in my opinion, for either of these guys. However, doesn't mean this can't be a phenomenal matchup. Simple question. Which OG will be more OG in this fight? Which OG are you running with? Is it going to be Cub Swanson or is it going to be Darren Elkins? Both guys have fought top guys in their careers. That's part of why they've been around for so long. You know, they've both had streaks of victory and streaks of defeat. And we see it where people lose a few in a row and they're gone. There's a reason neither of them are gone. They put up really entertaining battles. Who do I think? Man, I don't know. We'll touch on the odd stuff at the end. I'm just actually noticing this now. I think I'm going with Darren Elkins as which OG I'm running with. He's going to have to start better than he has in the last few fights. He's been like coming from behind and winning. But I think the win over Darrick Minner is pretty impressive to have pretty recently. We just saw Minner lose this past week against Ryan Hall, but Darrick was winning that fight. And then I got to be honest, I don't know or remember Eduardo Garagori, but so I don't know. I don't say it with the utmost of confidences, but I do think Darren pulls this one out. But I think he's got to make sure he doesn't like start falling from behind and having to come back and win like he has had to kind of before.
So I'm going to answer your question a little bit different way because the way I interpret it was which OG do I want to win? And
I think if you people might be picking this with their heart.
well, I mean that's kind of how I took it. So if I had to pick with my heart, I'm picking Cub Swanson. I like the guy's. I don't know what it is. I just like his energy. I like the way he is. He seems like a really cool dude.
It's the mustache, and I know that's what it is.
It's very cool, man. It's very 1970s, 80s. I like it.
The Prohibition era, the Peaky Blinder. Yes, it's up your alley.
put him up, Shay. Put him up. Yeah. So I mean, if I have to pick with my heart, I would want to see Swanson stay. He's, like you said, entertaining to watch. He had a really bad injury with that ACL, I think it was. So it's kind of unfortunate. Otherwise, I think he may have been keeping a really good pace. So that's my answer.
What does your casual mind tell you, though?
Oh, you want to jump to that immediately? My casual mind is telling me that Elkins is going to take this one. And I could go into my reasoning if you'd like.
We'll jump into that. So let's take a look at before we dive. Let's take a look at both guys' lead up to this fight. Cub had a tough loss against Giga. Not a very long fight, but I think it was like a liver shot. It was a kick to the liver or something. Giga got that Giga kick on him, and just the look on Cub's face was tough to see because you could see the pain as he was going down. That was rough. And look, Giga is still ascending. This guy is not someone to be disappointed in getting a loss against by any means. But just the way he lost was pretty tough. Had a couple of wins in a row and pretty. You get a finish against it's Daniel Pineda, I want to say.
It is
on the Figueiredo Moreno card. Okay, and then
that was a wild fight because I think that's when Cub like came back, and I remember watching that going like, dude, this is awesome because he was just going to town, and then obviously we got treated to Figueiredo Moreno going at it, so it was
Yeah, prior to that, he beats Kron Gracie. But then before he had beat Kron Gracie, we see two losses there against Shane Burgos and Renato Moicano. But before that, he had also lost to Frankie Edvin. And before that, Brian Ortega. So again, not chumps in the featherweight division.
Oh, not at all.
That he had been losing to. So again, a mixed bag. But again, he's fighting high-level competition. He's won 2 of his last 3 entering this fight. He's 38. So again, that's part of why I was saying, not that because we've seen the older guys winning titles, but he's not really on this run to say he's kind of building up towards he's continuing his run. He's not.
He's not going for a Teixeira.
No, exactly. That's a very good way to put it. So that's kind of how Cub's been looking coming into this one. So of the 27 wins, 16 of them are by finishes. We'll see. I don't know what the lines are. We'll talk about that too. So we'll see there. Conversely, Darren Elkins, also 27 wins, 15 finishes, pretty close there. Darren coming into this one, like I mentioned earlier, he just beat Darrick Minner. He beat, I don't know who that is, something Garagori. Don't remember that fight at all. I think we watched it, but again, we've seen so many fights.
Yeah, I don't remember that
one.
Eduardo
Garagori, no idea who that is. Don't remember the fight. Not going to pretend I do. I think, remember the Nate Landwehr fight, though, because that one was absolute nuts. I think I remember seeing a lot of blood. Nate was being pretty psycho in that fight, as he normally is. So, again, not a defeat to be ashamed of. And then Ryan Hall, we've seen that crazy dude do some crazy stuff. Ricardo Lamas, no joke. And then maybe the champion, Alexander Volkanovski, before Lamas. So, again, also had a 4-fight losing streak not too long ago that was snapped. But, again, against very good competition. So he's won 2 in a row. He's won 2 of 3. What does this mean?
Well, I mean, for me personally, I think, well, like we said in the preface to all of this, I think that Darren Elkins wins it, and my logic here is because of his wrestling. Considering what he was doing with Darrick Minner, and considering Cub doesn't really have that much of a wrestling game, although he is based in jiu-jitsu, so that's not to take away from him. But
he has been submitted 7 times.
Yeah, so if I had to, and I'm almost positive this is going to go to the ground, and if I had to bet and it's going to go down there, I'm going to bet on Elkins.
It's not a bad gamble there. Granted, while I did mention Cub has 7 defeats by submission, he hasn't been submitted since 2018. So a little north of 3 years since he was last submitted. I don't know. My one other thing I want to say on this before we kind of jump into the picks and the odds. Well, we said our picks, but the odds. This is my dark horse candidate for fight of the night. I think this has a pretty decent shot at it. Again, like I mentioned, these are 2 OGs, 2 guys that have been to wars before. They've shown us what they can do. I don't think it's unreasonable to have that expectation of these two guys. I think maybe could possibly be overlooked as a possible contender there to get the fight of the night.
Yeah, you got to that before I did, because I even have in my notes over here, Cub's going to be out to win it, because I think specifically of the way he lost against Giga, he's going to want to prove that, hey, no, that's not normal. That was a freak accident. And conversely, I think Elkins knows he is going to have output. He's going to need to be able to keep up with Cub. So fight of the night candidate is totally on the board for me as well.
Yeah, so we touched on your heart wants Cub, your mind says Elkins, my mind says Elkins too. My heart's not really talking to me right now. I don't know.
Cold-blooded.
But the line here, again, similar to the other 3 videos we went over before, the 3 earlier fights, the 3, starting from the main, kind of surprising to me seeing Cub at -200.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Cub shouldn't be the favorite, but 2-1 again seems a little inflated for me. Yeah,
I would have been happier seeing him at maybe like a -130 even, like somewhere there, and seeing Elkins at I don't know how the math would work out on that.
If it was -130, Elkins is going to be around +110. I was thinking, maybe up till -150 isn't a bad value.
I can agree with that too. I can agree with that one too. For me, again, like if you're a Swanson fan, this is very steep. It's not like a in the bag kind of fight where it's worth risking it on. And I kind of feel like Elkins is being done a little bit dirty here. Like +170 is. I mean, he's not a bad fighter. And especially if he gets to the ground, like the wrestling will come out. So this should have been a little bit closer, I think. But what are you going to do?
I agree. I mean, so far on the fights we've gone over, I think the most appropriate and accurate one was the -140 +120 split on Chris Dawkins and Derek Lewis. Chris Dawkins being the -140. The rest have been kind of pretty heavily inflated in favor of the favorite. This one, I not as egregious as some of the other ones, like specifically the Wonder Boy one against Muhammad. But again, minus 200, like I think you're reaching if you take this one, because I don't have that much confidence really one way or the other. But I do feel as a play, you have a better value at plus 170 with Elkins than you do at minus 200 with Cub Swanson. We don't know what the rounds are. I couldn't find those, but I'm a bajillion% sure this is going to be set at plus 2.5. I think the over will probably be the favorite, and I don't think it'll be too slight. I don't think it'll be minus 200 favorite for the over, but maybe not too far from it. I'm thinking the over is going to be maybe around like minus 170, something like that. And if that's the case, I think regardless, I think the over is a good play on this one.
Yeah.
Like I gotta kind of stay true to my pick of it being fight of the night. We talk about the prerequisites for fight of the night. For me, it's always pretty much you got to go at least about 2.5 rounds to make it a fight. Can't be a blip on the radar. So I would say the over is a good play here, or Darren Elkins if you feel good about Darren Elkins. Even if you feel good about Cub, if you're throwing it on like maybe a 4 or 5 leg parlay, then sure. But otherwise, even for a straight bet at minus 200, I don't think it's worth it.
100% agreed. And like if I were to play this, I would probably want to take Elkins on the over, considering that, like you said, the over is probably going to be set where it's going to be set. I think that's a good value. So I mean, even if you want Cub to win, you just take that over. You know what I mean, and then be happy with the win, but don't risk that minus 200 on him.
Yeah, I mean, another possible play here is you can even hedge them if you got a couple parlays running. If you got a couple locks on the parlays, you can hedge you. You can throw Cub on one, throw Darren on the other. Or I do like that play that you just mentioned. Just a simple 2-leg, Darren on the over. I think throw $20 on that, you're gonna yield. I think you're gonna profit about maybe $60 on that. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the overs, what the rounds set at, but I think 20 for you can get probably at least 50, 60. Pretty. I don't think it's. I would say like I have like 60% confidence on that hitting, which maybe is low, but just given we have a plus 170 here, I think it's not that bad of a play. We'll see again. I'm pretty pumped to see what these two UFC OGs end up pulling up. We'll see. Any last tidbits for you on this one?
No, just I wanted to repeat that question again. Which OG is your heart telling you is gonna? I'm rephrasing it. I didn't like the way you posed it originally.
The way you would like it to be.
Which OG do you guys want to win? Because I feel like this one could go either way.
Yeah, and in addition to that, rounds. What do you think? Does it go the distance? Does one or the other finish it? Does it go to the ground? If it goes to the ground, is Cub going to fare well? Let us know, regardless what your take is on all that and what our take was.
Yeah, and then give us all your hate